Those of you that know me well know that I like to be busy. For better or for worse, I have a hard time sitting still, and I love to try new things. When I got to Madison as a nervous 18-year-old, I was eager to find my place on campus. Walking around, it seemed like everyone had found their people, and I was excited to find mine. As the initial excitement wore off, I felt the impending loneliness as it started to sink in that I was all alone in a new place. To stave off this feeling, I decided to fill my schedule. Within a week, I had joined the rowing team and signed up for several clubs. My schedule had been built and color-coded, and there was no looking back. During this time, Pres House was one of the communities that I threw myself into. I can't say exactly what drew me here, whether it was the signage outside the building proclaiming that all are welcome, the familiarity of a church environment, or the homesickness that kept creeping up on me. Whatever it was, I'm so glad it brought me here. Because while I bounced between activities and making new friends, I was invited into a community that is as welcoming as it is dynamic. Pres House has always been a place where I'm asked to bring nothing more than myself and who I am in that moment. It's a place where I have always been met with so much love and grace. Through Freshman Connection, I met so many wonderful friends, and I feel lucky to have gotten to grow alongside them for the past 4 years. My involvement in Freshman Connection catapulted me into the Pres House community, and it led me to go on 2 Break with a Purpose trips, join council, and even attend a conference in Colorado. While at times I was highly involved here, there were other points when all I could manage to attend was the occasional Sunday worship service. During those busier seasons, I was still treated as a valued member of the community and felt the same sense of belonging as when I was here multiple times each week. One of the things I love about this place is that it has a way of giving you exactly what you need in that particular moment. I'm so incredibly grateful for the mentorship of Niato and Erica, who have guided me through challenges and been there to celebrate the wins with me. Toward the end of my freshman year, I came to the conclusion that I had to quit the rowing team that I had joined earlier that year. However, another thing about me is that I do not like to quit things. Niato sat patiently with me while I talked in circles about how I should quit, but couldn't quite bring myself to do it. Around that time, we were at a retreat, and I had gotten myself into this never-ending game of Uno. I had begun to grow tired of the game and wanted to end it, but everyone around me had heard about my difficulty quitting the team, so they stood firm, saying the game wouldn't end until I ended it. I'm not sure how long we continued playing, probably far too long, but what I do remember is eventually tossing my cards into the center of the table, standing up on a chair, and proclaiming, "I quit," and then being met with so many cheers. Pres House has been so much more than I ever thought a church could be for me. It has been a place that has held me during the difficult times and supported me through all the changes and growth I have experienced during these past 4 years. I'm so incredibly grateful for this place and for getting to share it with all of you.
Hi everyone, my name's Anna. If we haven't had a chance to meet, I'm sorry. But I spent an incredible amount of time trying to think about who and what and how to talk about what I wanted to talk about up here. Did I want to tell a story about my time here? Did I want to talk about the people I've met? And I even thought about how I would read it. Would I read it dramatically or somberly? And I didn't know how to encompass 4 years into 700 words. But let me try. I'm a military kid. My life is all new beginnings, so coming to college was not an extremely daunting experience. I knew kind of what was coming for me, and at least that's what I thought. My mom's a pastor, so I was raised in the Presbyterian churches, and she knew that it was probably a community that I had taken granted for and wanted to make sure that I would still have that community when I came to college. My freshman year, she told me to come to the free nachos event at Pres House, and just to tell my mom that I went, I came. There were no nachos left, and there were only people. I met Erica that night. I told her a little bit about me and that my mom had sent me here, and she asked, "But why are you here?" I didn't know. My mom had asked me to come, so it must have been good, but I didn't really want to come. I struggled the first few weeks and into the months, but over time, my relationships here began to flourish. And that is why Pres House became home to me. The people who were exactly like me and the people who are exactly opposite of me. We would sit down each week and eat food and drink tea and drink cider and just talk, something so natural and familiar. But some of these relations developed and became much deeper. The first time I felt like I truly belonged on UW-Madison's campus was when Niato Haley, Lauren, and Matt came to watch me play an intramural soccer game. Literally something so simple. It was something so simple, but it was the first step of that community I felt here. Then came the retreats, where I spent evenings sitting around tables, building puzzles, which is not my thing, and learning how to play Ticket to Ride. This is where I met Olivia and Nathan, Elizabeth, Ben, and Jacob. And again, my sense of community grew. Eventually, I was being invited to parties and game nights and dinners, and my mom's persistent push to telling me to go to Pres House and spend my time here had those direct benefit impacts, positive impacts. This community was there for me and supported me through all of my ups and my downs I faced in college. People prayed for me when I had pneumonia twice, whooping cough and dengue fever. They celebrated my accomplishments and hugged me when I was crashing out and helped me get out of bed when I was having my biggest mental health battle of my life. So now I'm standing before you today, and I feel like I can finally answer Erica's question. Why am I here? It's because all of you. I'm here because of the community that has been built and supported me throughout my college years. The next step for me is inevitable, and at some point we all have to leave and go to see other things. But I leave knowing pieces of my heart stay in this building with these people and these memories. All because I came to Pres House and it slowly turned into a home. So when the world feels overwhelming and you feel like you're alone, know that Pres House is always here for you. Not just because it's a house, but it's a home full of people who are ready to hold and support you with whatever is happening in your life.
When I first came to college, I wasn't sure if I was going to attend church at all at a consistent rate. Experiencing the COVID-19 pandemic in my junior and senior years of high school had taken me away from regular worship service. Before that, I had spent much of my life, and I mean a lot of my life, deeply rooted in the Presbyterian Church. At Forest Park Presbyterian Church, I was there every Sunday and multiple times a week for other things. But as I got older, especially as my siblings and fewer people my age were there, I attended less and less. Honestly, it felt freeing to sleep in sometimes and watch more football. If you know me, I care a lot about football. But as I prepared to head to college, I wondered, was I going to have enough time to find new friends, dive into schoolwork, relax, laugh, share joy, and still find space for worship on Sundays? And even if I did, would I find a church that matched the progressive values that I hold dear? I had perceived the Christianity of Forest Park Presbyterian Church to be a relatively uncommon doctrine. Services had a blend of traditional worship practice and a strong commitment to progressive social gospel. But most of the Christians that I was encountering outside of my church community, and especially online, were much more conservative, and sometimes aggressively so. So I wondered, was there a place for someone like me? Pres House turned out to be even more inclusive, encouraging, and loving than I could have ever imagined. It didn't just accommodate my questions and critiques of what church is and could be, it celebrated them. From the very beginning, Pres House felt alive in a way that I had never experienced before. It was full of young people, and even one of our pastors, Niata, was in his 20s. He's basically one of us. Two of those young people were my older twin siblings, Ben and Elizabeth, and they had already found a home at Pres House for the past 2 years. They had served on council by the time I was there and were deeply involved in many aspects of the community. If you know them, you know that's a fact. And they integrated me into it almost before I had even unpacked. Before I had attended a class or any Sunday service, they introduced me to my soon-to-be lifelong friend, Olivia, who we affectionately call Tito, and I can still picture us sitting on her porch before the school year had even started with my siblings that warm August night on her birthday, with each laugh watering the seeds of our blooming friendship. Ben and Elizabeth also played on the music team. Ben played the viola and Elizabeth played the violin, and before I had even arrived on campus, they had told Natalie, our music director at the time, that their cello-playing little brother was coming to town. And by my second Sunday at Pres House, I was already recruited to play alongside them with my cello. Not long after, I had told Natalie that I wanted to sing during service. I had spent only a year prior singing at any open performance And Prez House nurtured that experience within me and gave me the space to grow as a vocalist, an incredibly valuable practice that I'm grateful for. I'm also grateful for each and every one of the incredible people that I have met and spent time with in community at Prez House, the countless conversations, whether about history or politics, sports or music, all reaches of media, purpose, existence, life, and of course, Christianity. They've all shaped me more than I can say. Beyond the friendships and the music, which have stayed with me, what stayed with me most is how Prez House has reshaped my faith. Week after week, sermons here are centered on radical, inclusive teaching of Jesus, not fear and damnation. There was much less of an emphasis on punishing God and in understanding Jesus' life and ministry as deeply human and deeply transformative. Prez House opened the door for me to encounter liberation theology, powerful ideas from thinkers like Gustavo Gutierrez, and showed me how a gospel can be a force for justice, liberation, and societal change, like it was on BWAP. We went to Alabama and saw things. It was great. There's way more than that. I gave a speech about it. You should look at that. Through them and our community here, I came to see that Christianity does not have to be a retreat from the world's problems. It can be a tool for challenging systems of oppression and building a more compassionate, equitable society. It can align with my progressive values while still rooting me deeply in faith. As I leave Prez House, at least in a leadership capacity, I'll still be here next year, I encourage you, my peers, to continue to make this space what it is. Continue to show up with open minds and open hearts. Keep asking the hard questions. Keep laughing on porches late at night. Keep playing music and building friendships and finding new ways to make faith matter for you. Continue investing in and building this community where grace, justice, and love are lived out every day. Thank you.
I've never been good at endings, but I love beginnings. We never want to say goodbye to our graduates, but we also love the influx of faces in the fall. You know the meme with that dog that says, "No take, only throw"? Maybe I'm aging myself? Okay, well, it'll be linked on the website. Recently, my prayers have felt a lot like that dog's. I just feel like Jesus should be more focused on throwing the metaphorical ball for me, not taking it away. Although they are inseparable from beginnings, endings are hard. One of the really important things about the theology of this ministry is that we don't shy away from the parts of Christianity that are hard. It can be tempting to try and distill this faith down into something that is easily stomached, so bland that no one can possibly disagree. It can be tempting to say that the churches that have hurt us are not truly our family in Christ, and to skim over the passages of the Bible that make us balk. God is love, right? Well, that's true, and that is part of what I believe. But it's a statement made of candy, sweet to taste, but on its own lacking substance. To be honest, that kind of shallow theology has never felt worth it to me, has never actually inspired me to follow Jesus. The sermons I've heard from Erica, Mark, Niato, and many of you have brought an academic and historical context to the Bible that has, on any given Sunday, inspired me, confused me, and challenged me. Past the pulpit, casual conversations I've had with the people in this room have made me rethink worldviews I'd never questioned before. We've spoken of the love and mercy of God as something radical, frightening, and offensive, going past any human notion of what is just. The scripture is clear that following Jesus means being, at the mildest, perpetually uncomfortable. But that's more than candy. That's something worth talking about, something to bring about growth. I love that while waiting in line for food downstairs, I can mention that a sermon was a tough lesson for me, and that will be met with celebration for the opportunity it is. I was initially hesitant about sharing today because writing this reflection was hard. It meant leaning into the close of a chapter. And since I don't have anything to say, but at the same time I have too much, it's easier to keep that door closed. But I'm trying to embrace what is hard here in Prez House style and say goodbye. Prez House and all the people who make it up have taught me the kind of person I want to be by showing me just how radically good we can be to each other. It's taught me to give freely of what I have and to accept others' gifts in return. I've come to church crying and been comforted, and I'm honored that I've had the opportunity to return the favor. I've rushed away after dinner without having to do my dishes, and I've been allowed to clean up after you in turn. Thank you for serving me and for letting me do the same for you. These lessons are not easy, but they are simple. Pres House is a beautiful building with strong community partners supporting us, wise leaders to learn from, and people I am deeply blessed to call my friends. But it is more than the sum of any number of incredible parts. Pres House is not special because it is a gem each of us have found, but because it is a seed each of us carry. When I look out to a world of unprecedented times, I am comforted knowing that wherever any one of us go, we will help build something beautiful. I encourage you to move through the world embracing what is hard, leaning on each other to do so. Rest when you need to. Remember that the Bible is not a book of people doing easy things, and it would not be compelling if it were. Maybe it's painfully obvious that this is a scientist's prayer, but I think that if Jesus did not want us to wrestle with his teachings, he would not have given them all through layers of metaphor and riddle. Continue to question and take risks. Leave the boat, even if you might sink after a single step. How blessed we are to have a God and a community that will catch us. Thank you.